to another edition of our live Pittsburgh Sports Line in the BPTV studios. Thanks for watching us. We appreciate you. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. I got Chip Hayner, finally made it after 2 weeks. He's here to talk. Smoking Jim Frazier, of course, he's ready to roll. Let him chew a little bit there. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Great feedback I've been getting from you, so thanks, folks. Appreciate that. Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and the surrounding area. Nemacolin all the way to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. You can watch the show there, and we appreciate all your likes. We hit a brand new high, 6,670 on Facebook. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And one of our guests last night said he gave us the push to 6670. Dan Del Bianco, the executive director of the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. I said it right tonight, so pvgp.org.
Oh, that's a tongue twister.
That is.
You had to practice that one,
Well, I
didn't
made a mistake last night, and he goes, everybody does. So just brought that out. We got a lot of great sports for you tonight to talk about, of course. We have a sponsor for our show, Olive Oil's Pizzeria. I'll show them in a second or two. But we also have a sponsor for What's on Your Mind, Skeets Lewandowski of Skeets Service Station right on Route 88, past Trax Farm and Mineral Beach. Check out Skeets. Anything that runs on gas, he works on it. I need a new tire. I got to wait for the phone call tomorrow, and he'll put a tire on for me. So anything with your car, truck, van, boat, anything, he'll fix it. Anything that runs on gas, and they also have a forge out back. They can make knives and hooks for your walls and plants. So check them out. Skeet Service Station. Can't beat it. 724-348. Sorry about that. 4715. That's 724-348-4715. Give Skeets a call. Tell them the Talking Machine said, come on out. All right, we've got a sponsor of our show. We'll get the close-up on this. Olive Oil's Pizzeria, 412-831-1900. Great pizza and hoagie. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Give them a call, Hillcrest Shopping Center. They're a little busy tonight, but they'll take your call, and tell Mitch that I told you to give them a call. Last night, we had Lucy Fairzy on the show, and she has a show coming up, Style and Glam Boutique, on June 16th. So check that out. 7 o'clock to 10, Pittsburgh Center for the Arts. She didn't know the location, but said it's in Oakland. So look for the Pittsburgh Center for the Arts. It's a style and glam boutique, and she does makeup and looking to win an award there, and just some great information there. June 16th, 7 o'clock. Check that out. Tickets are $20 to $35. Includes dinner and VIP bags. Wow. Ladies, that's just for you. Then we had the guest I just mentioned there.
6300 Fifth Avenue, Alan.
Okay.
Pittsburgh Center for the Arts.
That's it. 6300 Fifth Avenue. You can't miss it thanks to Google and Chip Hayner. Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. Here's the brochure that Dan Del Bianco, the executive director, gave me. Look at the information. Look at all the sponsors that they have. Myron Cope started this to donate money to autism, where his son was going to school there, and he said he's donated like $5 million in the last 15 years. So Dan does a heck of a job. They're looking for volunteers. You can go to their website, pvgp.org, and be a volunteer. They have over 100,000 people come a day, and this is going to start July 6th through the 15th. It's Shenley Park. It's a great time to be out there. I've been out there a few times. It's amazing, the tents, the people, just what they do there. So check that out. Bethel Park Historical Society, Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. They're a 501c3, do a lot of great things at Bethel Park. You can donate to them and write it off. Another organization, Bethel Park Community Foundation, bpcf.org. Get an application. You can get $100 to $5,000 for your group at Bethel Park to help out funding and the things you may do in Bethel Park. Check that out, bpcf.org. Then we got Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. Uncle Al wants you for BPTV. There I am as Uncle Sam and Uncle Al with my face, 412-831-3304. Be a volunteer. You could be like Devin Shea and Steve, the Rookie of the Year, Fisher.
Devin Shea!
That's Smoking Jim's main man. He's been doing the show almost since the beginning. I think he missed our first show, and then after that he's done everything else since. So check that out. The Joey Favis Childhood Cancer Foundation. This is Joey before DIPG, the brain cancer, and after. He died at 9 years old. It's a 501c3. They donate all their money to find a cure for DIPG. Check it out. Joey Favis Childhood Cancer Foundation. They have a lot of great events. We usually film in September the Joey Favis 5K walk or run, and people dress up as famous characters and stuff, so he liked that. So check that out. Joey Favis Childhood Cancer Foundation. We end each show with Stay Joey Strong. And we're starting the show out with What's on Your Mind? Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
It's coming at you.
you got this.
What a throw that was.
Man, that felt like a white wide receiver, Steve Large. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Over there. But,
You used both hands. That was impressive.
hey, what's on my mind is, when can I make my first legal sports bet? I tell you what, Chip, I'm so excited right now. I'm finally through with my bookie. He made so much money off me in the last 3 Super Bowls. He's now driving a Cadillac, and I'm driving a vintage Subaru. But, hey, listen, when I go to the Pirate, I'm a baseball fan now. When legalized betting comes, if the umpire ain't going to be the only one with a clicker, I'll have my clicker. The next pitch will be a ball. Next pitch will be a strike. I'm going to get there early and predict who's going to win the sausage races, man. I'm going to bet on everything.
It's not sausage. It's not sausage in Pittsburgh. It's pierogi.
Pierogies. I'm a bet, see who warms up the best, brother. I'm betting on everything. Baseball is my new favorite sport. 162 games of betting. I can't wait. Al Levine, the talking machine.
Now, you gotta wait
if you want to see the green, if you want the green, come see the betting machine. And that's what's on my mind. Sports betting.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. With your record of telling us who to bet in Steeler games,
I may teach a course in school.
No, Macaroni Tony isn't going to be driving Cadillacs. The governor of Pennsylvania will be.
Now maybe Pete Rose can get in the Hall of Fame now.
Smoking Jim, a caller called into the fan. Here, Chip, I'm listening to the fan.
Okay.
And somebody calls in, said the same. I'm not saying it's dumb, but it borders on stupid that somebody would even think of that. It doesn't exonerate Pete Rose in betting on the sport because baseball has a rule that you can't bet on baseball and play baseball.
More importantly, what people fail to realize is that Pete Rose isn't even eligible to be elected into the Hall of Fame because he accepted a lifetime ban. End of sentence.
And most players, like
how many times do you have to tell him?
We said before off air that most players will never see 3,000 hits. He got over 4,000 hits, and you're keeping him out of the Hall of Fame. Your argument's done.
No.
Your argument's done.
Rule 21, paragraph D. That's the end of the argument. Read it.
We're coming up with all these facts.
How about his signature?
Huh?
That signature that he got paid for to do autographs, it was his. They've said he did it in front of the commissioner.
It's an embarrassment to the sport.
Well, that's what he was.
No, he'll never get in, so not while he's alive, I will tell you that much.
And it's not going to happen after he dies. You may dig them up to try to tell them, but it's not happening. All right, let's go to Chip Hayner. After all that nonsense, what's on your mind?
I will address a different perspective on Jim's point of view. And then I also want to go over something that I planned on discussing last week. Unfortunately, I was stuck in the residual traffic from an automobile accident, and I sat for 2 hours and didn't move last Tuesday night. So unfortunately, I wasn't here. But first, to speak to the landmark decision made by the
Supreme
Court, which is now leaving it up to each individual state to come up with their own laws for betting on sports.
Yep.
How this is going to change the way that we watch sports. What a bunch of crap. Let me tell you something. It's not going to change anything. If people wanted to bet on sports that badly, they already have been. And if they don't feel like betting on sports, which majority of the people don't want to do in the first place, it's not going to change the way I watch anything. As a matter of fact, I'll probably fall asleep at the same place in a game as I would have before, because my hard-earned money is not going to be wasted betting, because the only people that win when you bet are the house. So let's not forget about that, because why do you think Vegas wasn't built on the on the souls of winners? It was built on the souls of losers, right?
Yeah.
So that just
It's a little desert town. It was a little stop on a railroad, and they created that.
It was a
nothing,
desert stopover for Army troops. To get it something to drink. Well, and then look what they did. They turned it into an oasis for people to lose their money. But God bless them for doing that. The only thing that the thing that I find is amusing is that the commissioner of the NBA says that he wants 1% off the top of everything that's bet on NBA basketball. And I've never heard of anything more ridiculous in my life, because do you realize that 1% off the top, he's not asking for 1% of the profits. He's asking for 1% of the gross, which means that the whoever was running this operation would be paying him 20 to 30% of the total of their profits.
That's
never going to happen. And the professional sports franchises shouldn't be entitled to not one dime of money that's gambled on sports.
I have one point. Las Vegas has had sports books for years. They've never paid any league a dime.
And they shouldn't.
And they don't plan on it.
And they're not going to. But
they don't pay anything.
That all being said, I think it's much ado about nothing. And for the people that want to bet, good. Now the money that you lose, you're going to be taxed for. So somehow you're going to lose even more money.
They're still going to go with Macaroni Tony, because you don't have to pay taxes if you win.
The only thing that's going to be different with people that bet, not so many of them will be walking with a limp. Now, my second point. The Steelers picked up a quarterback in the third round of the draft, and I'm planning on talking to Jim about drafting and the Steelers a little bit, because I haven't been here for the last couple of weeks, and I just want to pick his brains. But they get Ben Roethlisberger, and they have his two, what should I call them, shine boys on the fan who keep his boots polished for him, and while they're sitting there stumbling all over one another trying to kiss his hind end, Ben's on there running his mouth, and he made himself really look kind of foolish, and no, let's just say kind of foolish. He's questioning why the Steelers chose to draft a quarterback, especially after he told them, "Oh, I plan to play for another 3 to 5 years." Well, he also told them that he planned on retiring and that next year wasn't guaranteed. But then he kind of puts the caveat on all this, but we'll take it year to year. So what are the Steelers supposed to do? Oh, gee, Ben, you committed to us for 5 years, so we're not going to draft a quarterback for 5 years, so that when you decide to change your mind next year, that we're left without a quarterback and we're going to end up being the Cleveland Browns for the next 20 years? I don't think so. I think the Steelers did a smart move by picking up a quarterback, and a quarterback in the third round who a lot of people especially somebody to my left here, had a very high rating for in this year's draft. Is Ben going to stay healthy for the next 5 years? Hard to say. It's one of the most violent sports on the world, and quarterbacks drop like flies in the National Football League. So, if Ben were to play for another 5 years, I would hope there's 2 or 3 championships involved there. But I don't know. We'll see. So, I think what Ben should just focus his attention on is playing football instead of trying to question what the management of the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing. Because if you look at it like this, in the last 11 years, the management of Pittsburgh Steelers have made some pretty good decisions because they've won 65% of their games. I don't think that, that warrants second guessing, but I know that's something my dear friend Jim is always going to assume.
Hold it. That's one of the rights of all Steeler fans to say we need a new coach. Doesn't matter how many games they win. If they lose a game, we need a new coach.
You remember this because you and I lived through this. 1 week we hated Chuck Noll. The next week we loved Chuck Noll. Then Chuck Noll was referred to as the Emperor, okay? Because it was his way or not at all. And
he was loved in the black community.
So when he retired, he was beloved. Bill Cowher, all anybody did was complain about him, tell him that he could never win the big game. He finally did win one, okay? And as soon as he retired, the chin should go in, okay? So now we've got Mike Tomlin, and all we've done is heard criticisms. He won with Cowher's players. Well, you know what? I've never heard a bigger bunch of crap in my life. But you know what? He's done nothing but win, and here's what's going to happen. Whenever he decides to move on, he's going to be beloved. Okay? Yeah. So, that's just the way Steeler fans are. We're
spoiled.
They hate their coach. They love the backup quarterback.
Ain't nobody going to love Tomlin when he moves on, man.
Certainly won't be you.
We'll play this tape when they want to enshrine him into the Hall of Fame ahead of Cowher.
You watch. There'll be a statue, and it'll be 3 individuals. It'll be Chuck Noll in the center, with Cowher on his right, and Tomlin on his left, or Tomlin on his right and Cowher on his left.
Well, if Tony Dungy got in the Hall of Fame, anybody can get in. So.
The chin's not in. Sorry to say. The chin won't be in.
I'm not saying nothing.
I said it. Thanks, Chip Hainer. Appreciate it. I only have a little bit to say about the gambling and the betting in all 50 states. Our governor come out a few months before this to get legislation set up. Wolf. Wolf's our governor, Tom Wolf. In case you didn't know, Smoking Jim. In Monroeville, they may have no governor there, but the state's governor is Tom Wolf. He had legislation talking about setting up gambling in Pennsylvania. So our state will be ahead of some of the others in putting that into action.
Yeah, the first one's going to be New Jersey because New Jersey.
Well, they had the lawsuit.
New Jersey filed the lawsuit, and they're ready to go. They'll probably be accepting bets this weekend.
No doubt about it.
Oh, wait, they don't have any teams that are playing.
Would it be that soon?
They're ready to go.
There'll be sports books all over that country.
After Atlantic City collapsed completely, I mean, it's a bust.
President Trump took his money out before it collapsed.
No, he bankrupted them a few times and rebuilt a couple more. But you can go with that.
He was smart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, except for the money he lost for those investors and other people that went in with him. But that's another story. What's on my mind is all the bad talk about the Buccos and the bottom line Bob. Growing up, I never worried about who owned the Pirates. I just liked watching baseball. I like the players, the managers, coaches. That's what I like. So I had an open mind when they got rid of Cole and they got rid of, who's that guy? Kutch. Yeah, he was just here this weekend. How do we have a quarter of the season done and we're a half game out of first place? To me, I'm happy to hear it. And then I never thought I'd say thank you, Neil Huntington, for the players that you brought here Because like I've had many discussions the last couple months with people, do you realize only a special few players in the country play for Major League Baseball teams? What is it, around 1,500 players or something? These are the best in the country in general. I'm off on the numbers, but they're the best.
About 1,200.
Yeah,
each roster's got about 40
I wasn't sure if
men.
they have
you
extra.
can protect 40.
Yeah.
You can only have 25 up until September 1st.
Right, so I wasn't sure if we count minor league or whatever, AAA. But my point is, the best players in Major League Baseball, even if you have the worst team, are the best in the country. So some of them get upset when they hear the media and other people that are so-called fans or fickle fans or boycotting games that they're not coming out. So what do you think a guy that has some talent and the skills, it's like Smoking Jim sends a kid to college, says, you're the best kid in Clarion, and I'm sending you to Penn State, and there's 50 kids that are on the same level of this kid or more. So he does the best he can. Some work harder, some quit, some go home to their mamas, and that's what happens. It's like the players. They decided to play something that they grew up as little kids like Chip and I did, playing baseball, and they're adults playing a game where they're making millions of dollars. So guess what? They've been winning games. What do we have, 23 wins this year?
23 and 17 at
How
the
can you
40th
go?
game of the year.
How can you complain about that? And then they bring Kutch back, do a great video. Kudos to the Pirates for putting a nice video out. And then, lo and behold, they've been bum rapping Kutch. They didn't really bring any players to the games. They were only averaging 12,000 players a game. Lo and behold, he comes back from San Francisco to standing room only of 34,000 people in the ballpark. So what? We went from 12,000 to 34,000, 24,000 extra people who swore they weren't coming to Pirate games come out to see it. I heard Smoking Jim may have been cited at the ballpark at PNC.
I'm boycotting.
He boycotted before because 3 innings is too much to go. But it just amazes me that we have a winning team. Like Chip said, he's going to see what happens, and he's watching it. I had the same open mind. You know, I can't worry about the ownership, bottom line, Bob, whatever he's doing. Hey, it's his money. It's not my money. I'll go to a game when I can. That's all. Let's go, Bucks. I hope they can survive this 162-game season.
Well, you know,
That's my idea.
And I'll tell you what, you know, what people fail to understand is, you know, okay, we had 3 good years, okay? And if there's anything that we know about professional sports in general, is that teams do not stay the same year after year.
Yeah.
Players move on, contracts expire, people become free agents, people
Salary
get
caps,
traded.
yeah.
You know, with baseball, not so much. But, you know, what people are failing to realize about what they are witnessing here is they are watching a good young group of ball players who are starting to make their mark. And we're going to watch a number of these young men grow up and be great Major League Baseball players. Just as we watched Andrew McCutchen, we watched Pedro Alvarez, even though, you know, he failed. We watched Garrett Cole grow up. Jordy Mercer, I remember watching him as a rookie who's now become a competent Major League shortstop. You know, so we've watched the emergence of Gregory Polanco, and we've watched Starling Marte mature. And I think Starling Marte is a better ball player now that he is not playing under McCutchen's shadow. He's a better player this year than he was in previous years, because in previous years, this was Andrew's team, okay? And everybody took second fiddle to him. Now people are allowed to shine. You've got a great young first baseman who could be, you know, quite a force over the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Give you 30 home runs.
Look at Polanco. What happened with him? He's playing ball.
We've got some good people in our minor league system that are working their way towards making it to the Major League roster. So what we're going to have over the next few years is you're going to have new names, but you're going to have good baseball. You're going to have winning baseball. You're going to compete. And really, that's all you can ask for. A championship may or may not happen, but, you know, you're going to have quality baseball being played here in
That's a
Pittsburgh.
great theory, but that's only a theory. The only thing we watched in the last 2 years was ownership put $86 million in his pocket.
Where did you get that number from? Do you know what the Pirates' profit was last year? According to the numbers that I heard, they made a $36 million profit. So where's this 86?
86 million.
You're basing this on not a single fact. And until you show me in black and white, you show me that, and I'll believe it.
He got a doctor up.
That's not a theory. That's fact.
No, it is
telling
not.
us theories.
No, I'm telling you what. I'm talking reality. You're I don't know what you're smoking.
Hold it. He's delusional. Thank you, Chip Hayner. I appreciate that. We try to keep Smoking Jim straight, but we're going to come back with some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. I can't wait.
The Oliver Miller Homestead will open its 2018 season with a great special event that focuses on the fiber, fabrics, and fashions of the late 18th century in western Pennsylvania. In the 18th century, clothing your family was a year-round job that involved all of the members of the family. And on Sunday, May 20th, from 1:30 to 4:30 p.m., the docents of the Oliver Miller Homestead, located just off the circle at Corcoran Drive in South Park, will demonstrate and display the fibers, fabrics, and fashions that the Millers would have used. The steps needed to produce wool from carding to spinning will be demonstrated, as will the process of planing and turning flax into linen. A variety of fabrics will be on display, as well as quilts that demonstrate the techniques and patterns of the time. A local dyeing expert will display and demonstrate the techniques and products used to dye fabrics. There will be an interactive area for the kids to allow them to make an 18th century cap to take home, to learn to weave on a loom, and to dress up in appropriate clothing of the time. All guests may use a photo board for picture taking to see what they would have looked like in 18th century garb. At 2:30, all guests are invited to gather under the trees to hear a reading of Charlie Needs a Cloak, which explains the steps in making a cloak. At 3 o'clock, guests may view a fashion show of the types of clothing worn by various classes and ages of those living in the 18th century. Docents will be present around the grounds to answer your questions and to give information about the Miller family. This is truly a special event with displays and activities for all, which is available for only $2. Visit the website olivermillerhomestead.org for more information about this and other exciting events at the Oliver Miller Homestead.
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, and Chip Hayner. Thanks to Rookie of the Year and Devin Shea. I'm mic'd up properly. My mic must have slipped off. But, hey, just a couple of things on fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. One, congratulations to the Washington Capitals, which I predicted that Alex Ovechkin is his year. Also, congratulations to Marc-Andre Fleury, which I predicted all along that the Penguins would never win another Stanley Cup after they backstabbed Marc-Andre Fleury. There's more to a team. Like, say, for example, Chip, you're married. You're happily married.
That's true.
You're going to Maine. There's a nucleus that builds a team. When you go to Maine, or you go to Nebraska, or you go to California.
He's reaching now, Chip. I don't know what he's doing.
As a team, you're so much happier when you have your teammate there. Now, without your teammate, you may still be able to perform your job, but you're not as happy, and that's what's happening with the Penguins. The Pirates after backstabbing McCutcheon and some others. But we're going to talk about some Pittsburgh sports line karma. Congratulations to a well-deserved #1 model in the state of Pennsylvania, Sindel Taylor, Mrs. Pennsylvania. I tell you what, this is a lady that's been through a lot. She was a ring card girl for Iron Mike Tyson. She was a ring card girl for Roy Jones Jr., was nationally known and acclaimed but never got the recognition that she deserved. And she went and is now #1 in Pennsylvania. And probably it's her time to win the Mrs. America.
You finally said it right.
Yes,
She's Mrs. Pennsylvania.
I am so proud of her. She didn't give it up. She just persevered, continued to come on the #1 show in the country, Pittsburgh Sportsline. She's in the Hall of Fame, and now she's not only wearing her Hall of Fame ring, but she's wearing the crown of Mrs. Pennsylvania. Congratulations, great Pittsburgh Sportsline karma. Congratulations, Sendell. I couldn't be more happier for you.
What Hall of Fame ring? Where is mine?
He was just making some stuff up.
Yeah, he is. You guys wonder why he's asking me for a quarter. He's going to go down the bubblegum machine and get one for me.
Is that your fiction, in fact?
That's
No.
Okay, thanks, Smoking
it.
Jim.
Can I ask you guys one question before
Go
we go
ahead.
to
Sure.
ship?
Yeah.
Who are you pulling for now in hockey? You know, I love hockey. Don't forget that Monroeville Mall used to have an ice rink.
Used to.
I am still pulling for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I would love to see the Vegas Golden Knights make it.
But Tampa Bay down 2-0.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what I thought.
they're going to
And they
win.
go to
They're going to win
Washington.
tonight in Washington.
In Washington, they're going to win
Uh-huh.
with Alex Ovechkin.
And the
Number one
Washington
player.
lost twice to Columbus in Washington. Actually, they lost 3.
He didn't know that.
Yeah,
He didn't know.
he didn't know that.
They're on a roll now.
Yeah, they
didn't.
haven't made. They haven't won 16 yet. It's the first team that gets 16.
I think they can win the next 3 in a row. That's what I'm predicting.
No.
But I'm pulling for Fleury.
Well, Fleury's got his hands. He's got his work cut out for him. Winnipeg is a very, very good hockey team.
The Canada's do.
Now you're switching. All right. Let's go. Thank you, Smoking Jim Frazier, again.
Oh, thank you, and good evening, everybody. And what I'd like to talk about on Chip's Trivia this evening is an exclusive club in Major League Baseball who just welcomed its 32nd member all time on May 4th. On May the 4th, Albert Pujols became the 32nd player to get 3,000 hits in his Major League Baseball career. And I'd like to go over what the 3,000 Hit Club is and what it means, and when it started, and some of the more illustrious members of the club. In Major League Baseball, the 3,000 Hit Club is a group of batters who have collected 3,000 or more regular season hits in their careers. Cap Anson was the first to join the club on July 18th, 1897, although his precise career hit total is unclear, because back in the day, the very beginning days of baseball, in some ways they kept statistics, walks counted as hits. So it's hard to determine what was his exact hitters, but he's the one who's been given credit as the first member of the 3,000 Hit Club. Two players, Nap Lajoie and Pittsburgh's own Honus Wagner, reached 3,000 hits during the 1914 season. So that's members number 2 and 3. And Honus Wagner won 8 batting championships as a Pittsburgh Pirate. And this is a little known fact. There's only one team in Major League Baseball that has won more batting titles than the Pittsburgh Pirates in the history of Major League
Yankees.
Baseball.
Gotta be Yankees.
Detroit Tigers.
I don't believe that.
They just told you.
It's a fact.
It's in the books.
Fact check me, please, while we're on the air. Okay, Ty Cobb became the club's 4th member in 1921 and became the first player in Major League history to reach 4,000 hits in 1927. He ultimately finished his career with 4,191. At the time, the record for most in a career. Pete Rose became the 2nd member of the 4,000 Hit Club on April 13th, 1984, while playing for the Montreal Expos. Cobb, also the Major League's all-time career batting average leader, remained the Major League hit leader until September 11th, 1985, when Rose collected his 4,192nd hit. Rose, the current record holder, finished his career with 4,256 hits.
9/11.
Roberto Clemente's career ended with precisely 3,000 hits, reaching the mark in the last at-bat of his career on September 30th, 1972. The significant thing about that was he was the 11th member of the club. No, the 11th member of the 3,000 hit club in 1972. So in total, 32 players have reached 3,000 hits. Of these, 17 were right-handed, 13 were left-handed, and 2 were switch hitters, meaning they could bat from either side of the plate. 10 of these players have played for only one major league team. 6 players, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Eddie Murray, Rafael Palmeiro, Albert Pujols, and Alex Rodriguez, are also members of the 500 Home Run Club. At 367, Cobb holds the highest career batting average among club members, and Cal Ripken Jr. holds the lowest at 276.
Wow.
Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, and Wade Boggs are the only players to hit a home run for their 3,000th hit.
Wow.
Paul Molitor and Ichiro Suzuki are the only players to hit a triple for their 3,000th. And if Ichiro would have played his entire career in the United States instead of majority of his career, a fair amount of his career in Japan, he would have smoked Pete Rose's 4,256 hits without a question. All others hit a single or a double. Craig Biggio was thrown out at second base, attempting to stretch his 3,000th hit from a single into a double. Biggio and Jeter are the only players to join the club in a game where they had 5 hits. Jeter reached base safely in all of his at-bats. The most recent player to join the club, Albert Pujols, collected his 3,000th hit on May 4th, 2018, while playing for the Los Angeles Angels. Baseball writer Josh Pahagan writes that membership in the club has long been considered the greatest measure of superior bat handling. Reaching 3,000 hits is often described as a guarantee of eventual entry into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
All eligible club members, with the exception of Rafael Palmeiro, have been elected to the Hall. And since 1962, all club members who have been inducted were elected on the first ballot except for Biggio. Rose is ineligible for the Hall of Fame because he was permanently banned from baseball in 1989. After 4 years on the ballot, Rafael Palmeiro failed to be named on 5% of the ballots, so he was removed. So that being said, the 3,000 hits is a pretty significant achievement. I have the list of them here for Jim if he wants to go over and look at that. And I got some other interesting things that I came across here while I was doing my research for this.
Sure.
And, there's 32 players that have 3,000 hits. Who was the first player to hit 500 home runs? And I know Alan knows the answer to this question. He's also the same person that hit 150, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, and 700 as well. And that was the great Babe Ruth. Who was the first player to hit a home run in the history of baseball? On May 2nd, 1876, it was Ross Barnes of the Chicago White Stockings.
Wow.
Later, they became the Cubs. And inside the Parker against Cincinnati. The player with the most home runs, Barry Bonds. Which player has hit the furthest home run? This is a very good trivia question.
Willie Stargell, maybe.
The player who hit the furthest home run was a catcher for the Cincinnati Reds. He hit the baseball into a truck which carried the ball 30 miles.
Okay, I like that. That was good. That was good.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Okay, and then there's the list of players that have hit over 500 home runs. And then there's the list of players that have hit over 500 home runs and 3,000 hits. And we went over that list before. And here's the interesting thing about that. If you take away the 755 home runs that Hank Aaron hit, he still has 3,000 hits.
Wow.
He had 3,771 hits in his career. And
That's amazing.
It truly is amazing because he did it in as
Different era.
adverse conditions as could be because racism was rampant in the 50s and the 60s, and it made it harder for the ball players. So just some interesting stats here. There's only one player who had over 500 at-bats in his rookie season. And you may have remembered this name, Kirby Puckett, who played 12 solid seasons with the Twins. 25 players with 25 or more or 500 home runs. And I don't need to go down the list of all of those. But, yeah, just some very interesting things here. First player with 500 home runs and 3,000 hits. 4 players have done it. Eddie Murray, Rafael Palmeiro, Hank Aaron, and Willie Mays. So obviously it was either Aaron or Mays. Aaron got his 500th home run 1968, Mays in 1965. However, both Mays and Aaron didn't get his 3,000th hit until 1970. So now the question is, who got the 3,000th hits first, Aaron or Mays? May 17th, Mays got his. Aaron got his on May 17th. Mays got his on July 18th.
Wow.
Aaron's
the man.
And I swear those are probably, with the exception of my personal opinion, that I think Roberto Clemente was one of the greatest players that I ever saw play the game in my lifetime. I also saw Hank Aaron play, and I also saw Willie Mays play. I did not see either of them play in their primes.
Willie was
and Willie Mays was probably the greatest ball player that ever played the game, in my humble opinion. They said that if he would not have played the majority of his career in Candlestick Park, he easily would have hit 800 home runs. The winds were so bad in Candlestick Park that a pitcher actually got blown off the mound in his windup in the middle of a game. So,
hey, kid, right?
yes, he was an incredible athlete. He could do it all. You talk about a 5-tool player. He had 6 tools.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was just incredible, and he's still alive. So
Is he?
yes, he is.
Yeah.
Let me ask you one question for you. Go. How many players in the history of Major League Baseball have 4,000 hits?
2.
Just 2. Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure.
And how many of them are not going into the Hall of Fame?
One of
Just
them.
one.
Yeah, forever.
I was wondering.
Thank you, Chip Hainer.
In case you were wondering, you know, there's some interesting statistics there. But
I like that.
you know, I was thinking about it because 3,000 hits. You know, why is it so important? Think since baseball started, they started playing baseball in the 1880s.
Yeah,
32 players have had 3,000 hits,
that's unbelievable.
and we may have seen the last one in quite some time.
And just 2 have 4,000 hits.
You stuck on that smoke.
We'll never see that again.
Yeah, you know what else?
Lex Ichiro gets it.
Well, true.
He can only play so long. He's getting old.
Unless
Thanks,
they count-
Smoking
unless-
Jim, for
unless
your
they
assist.
Unless they count his hits from Japan, then he's got it.
More than enough.
Nobody's counting them.
All right, thanks, Chip Hainer. Appreciate that with another assist from Smoking Jim Frazier again. On location, what a great show we had. Olive Oil's Pizzeria last night from Dan Del Bianco, Executive Director of the Vintage Pittsburgh Grand Prix. Great guest there. Sindel Taylor did her first interview after she became the 2018 Mrs. Pennsylvania for Smoking Jim Frazier. Then we had Lauren Hull come on, a bodybuilder. We had Lucy Fairzy come on with her glam show, and Jennifer Mendocino owns a local place, Sotal on Brookline Boulevard.
It's Italian.
Yeah, Italian place. Smoking Jim keeps saying he's never seen it yet. 616 Brookline Boulevard. So we had great guests, great show. Our man Skip, thanks for watching tonight. He said, welcome back, Chip. He misses
thank
you.
Thank you very
So
much.
Skip sent that message
Very
to me.
greatly
and
appreciated.
he's watching right now. Thanks to everybody else watching. Aaron Romeo come out to see us. Hasn't seen our show in a couple years, so he come out to see us. So a few people come out.
How's his fledgling rap career coming?
Who knows? He does these different things. I have no idea. I didn't get a chance to talk to him on that. Although he wanted to talk about Super Bowls again, but I couldn't bring him on the show. We had no time. He likes talking those Super Bowls. He knows every Super Bowl around. So an interesting character, but great show. Hollywood Lanes has canceled our show for next week, so we'll be back at Olive Oil's Pizzeria on June 11th. So mark your calendars, come out and see us. Frank Fanera puts on $5 large pizzas, one topping, $5 hoagies, large hoagies. It's a great time out there, great location, 930 Brookline Boulevard. That's all I got for you on location. See you later with some Pirate Talk.
Yes, sir.
BPTV. Come volunteer. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be here. BPTV. Come on in, make a show. It's still fun after all these years. I've shown an interest in making home movies. Me and some buddies would just grab a camera and you just start making these videos, and then you realize at some point that this isn't just a hobby anymore, it's something that you actually want to pursue, and there's this great facility right down the road, BPTV. A lot of people will try to do these productions on their own, and one of the things they don't have is the equipment, you know, but right here is everything she needs in one nice little bundle. There's lights, cameras, reflectors, dollies, all kinds of little knickknacks. Like anything that you'd want to use that you would need for a production, you have it right here. Like it's all right here. You can make your own feature movie just with the stuff from this studio. Come meet Dave Cable, let him show you around, and I think you'll realize that this is something that you could fall into regardless of your level of expertise, whether you're a beginner or even if you're a more advanced learner. There's something here for everyone, and I feel that you just need to come through and just be a part of the experience and just watch and learn, and you know, let Dave be your guide.
Let's go Buccos. I shed a little light on the half game out of first place. Buccos. After 40 games, to me, that's unbelievable. I got to give credit to the Buccos again. The fans are boycotting games, supposedly.
Yeah, you know,
and we have winning teams.
All the hypocrites will be back because winning heals all wounds. Okay, and the more they win, and the more the people come. Now, I was at the Pirates game on Saturday night, and it was the first of. This was my 5th game that I've been to this year, and it was the first game that I went to where the temperature was above 35 degrees. So yes, the Pirates' attendance has been off a little bit this year, but when you've got subarctic temperatures, kind of doesn't really make you want to bring the kids out to the ball game, because you know going to a baseball game is more of a family event than it is, going to a football game. So the only person that's not surprised about the way the Pirates have performed this year is this person right here. Is if anybody remembers what I said before the season started, I said that the Pirates would be better than anybody gave them credit for. And all they're doing is they've got nothing to lose. Everybody wrote them off. They wrote them off in January, okay? And you know what? I know that the games are played between April and October, and you know I was going to go in it with with some optimism, and watch
Sure,
and
why
see what
not?
they got, because they have a good management staff in place. They have a lot of great young athletes. I absolutely love their young pitching staff. Right now, they're having some middle relief issues, and they've taken George Contos. They've taken him out of being the 8th inning guy. Once they get to the 9th inning with Felipe Vasquez, formerly Felipe Rivero, he's their shutdown guy, and he's excellent at doing it. But Contos just hasn't been getting a job done. They've got a lot of young pitchers that are looking to try to find their niche, and I think it's great that he's going to audition everybody for the job. We've had some great things happen. I think Saturday night, I believe Nick Kingham will be back up to pitch. Nick Kingham, his very first start in the major leagues, 7 innings, 6 and 2/3 inning of no-hit baseball. His second outing was good. They've kept him in the minors, and they've kept him pitching so that he's ready to start again, because we'll need another starter this weekend.
Sure.
Pirates are going to go with a 5-man rotation. And how that's going to play out, I mean, it's going to be a learning process. Right now, Trevor Williams and Chad Cole have been extremely good. Ivan Nova, he's been up and down. But, it looks like
Tyon's had a few issues, too.
Tyon's had some very good outings, and he's had some bad outings. But, I think he's going to weather the storm. The thing I'm glad to see is that Tyler Glasnow seems to have found his place coming in and out of the bullpen.
It seems to be, yes.
Because for some reason, as a starting pitcher in the minor leagues, he's unhittable.
Yeah.
And when he gets to the majors, he's
hittable.
I think he got too much into his own head. Now he's, he's
He
not
had
being
nowhere
asked
else to go, so now they got to do it.
He's fulfilling a role he's being asked to do. He's not trying to do too much. He's staying within himself. So, the Pirates, they're going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. And I'm enjoying the show. And when everybody else decides they're going to come back, and then
You'll already be there.
well, here's one of the things that just really just shows how absolutely foolish some of these people are in regards to the Pirates. I heard somebody call in on our talk radio show last week, and they're already complaining because, the Pirates may be doing okay now, but they're not going to trade for anybody at the end of July. And
How do you know?
And this person's got a crystal ball, but they're already mad at the organization for moves that they may or may not make. You know what? Maybe come the end of July, you look at the team and you say, you know what? We don't want to trade anybody. We don't want to give up anybody. Maybe the team's going to be good enough to carry it through.
Put it like this. I've heard experts, scouts, and everything else say sometimes when you win a certain amount of games with the players you have, it can make a difference to get one of those other guys that you see on these teams. That one guy might be a 10-game difference. That's when you can make the decision, depending on the talent that you have, and whether this guy is a hitter or a pitcher would make the difference.
But you got to get up off of that $86 million to do it, and they won't do that.
We still question the veracity of that statement.
Whatever comment Jim's making, he's basing it on a shred of fact. So he's going to continue to laugh, but it's just you lose some credibility there, my friend.
He didn't have it to begin with.
Got to spend money, Chip. You know it. You got to spend some money sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't.
We agree to disagree.
It'd be different if you were spending yours, because I'm still
That's
waiting.
not happening.
I'm still waiting after 7 years to see you spend dime one.
You'll wait another 7 years.
So you want to talk about somebody spending money? Okay.
You can wait another 7 years. No problem.
But
He'll squeeze that wrong.
We've got a 2-game series against the
White Sox.
Against the White Sox, and the White Sox happen to be the worst team in Major League Baseball. And the Pirates really had 2 amazing games against them after being swept by the Nationals on that 9-game road trip that they went on. They won 2 in a row against against the White Sox.
Yeah.
Both of them come behind victories. One game they were losing 5-1 in the ninth inning, and they ended up winning 6-5 on Corey Dickinson hitting a two-run homer, and in the top of the ninth, and Vasquez
Can't beat that.
just shut them down. So, the Pirates, it was great to see Andrew McCutchen, and I'll tell you the one thing that I really enjoyed the most about this weekend is that on Friday night, McCutchen came to bat, and he was batting second in the order for the Giants. And when he came out, the place went nuts. Everybody's giving him a standing ovation. Well, Francisco Cervelli, who is a very good friend of Andrew's, went out and stood 5 feet in front of home plate because
He let the fans do what they
the
did.
batter cannot get into the batter's box until the catcher assumes his position. So he stood out there and he let Andrew get his accolades, and he let the fans show their appreciation, and he let Andrew show his appreciation. And he did the same thing to him Saturday night when we were there.
Ah, nice.
And I just thought that was a really classy move by a friend.
By Cervelli, yeah.
By Cervelli. And McCutchen, the joy on his face to see that he was so happy to be back in Pittsburgh. I'm sorry that he had to go. I know Jim says the Pirates stabbed him in the back.
Yep.
Nothing even close to it. Okay, it's the economics of Major League Baseball, and if you don't understand that, then you don't understand the sport
One of
at
the
all.
Pirates appreciated the extra 24,000 fans that came out. That was that's appreciation that they appreciated from McCutchen. So
And what's the point of
And
that?
what's the point of that?
they made a lot of money by Andrew. So
Okay.
yeah,
That's why they did the
So
video.
yeah, but that's
Nice
why they're
profit.
in business,
nice
is to
profit.
make money.
Well, yes,
Okay.
86 million over the last 2 years.
When you were
yeah.
growing up, did you care what the Steelers made as owners?
I've never been a fan.
Hold
I'm
it,
a
the
fan of winning.
Steelers. No, the Steelers.
No.
Huh?
You've had season tickets since you were in
Yeah,
diapers.
since I was 4.
Did you ever worry
You're not a
about the
fan of
owners and what they were making?
No.
Because there was a curse,
You're
the
a
Art
fan.
Rooney curse.
You're a fan of making controversial statements, whether they're based
But
in
they're
fact or not.
true.
They're not.
I'm the only one that said the Penguins will never win another Stanley Cup because they backstabbed Fleury.
They did not backstab him. Do you not know what the economics of the game are?
He was already under contract. You need
Yes,
2 goalies.
they couldn't afford to keep him, and they couldn't. They had to give up one of those 2 goalies, and the amount of money that they would have owed him would have not allowed them to field the team that they felt.
I got to bring the Rookie of the Year in because the accounting doesn't. It says you're wrong. Listen,
No.
if this playoff series
Even
right
the
now
cap-
would have paid Fleury's entire salary if the Penguins would have made it one more round, and they
you
would
realize-
have.
And the goaltending was not the reason why the Penguins lost the last series. It was the defense, not the goaltending.
It's
so
the
it didn't matter.
chemistry, team chemistry.
Here, I beg to
Team
differ.
chemistry.
Here's what happened. They didn't score enough goals.
But it's the chemistry.
When
of
you
the
average
team.
1 goal your last 2 games, you're not going to win a lot of games. It doesn't
We'll
matter.
We'll
We're
revisit
almost.
it next year when they don't do it.
I don't even agree to disagree because I don't even know what your point is.
The merchandise they're losing now. People buying Penguin gear
Smoking
all
Jim,
over the
you're
country.
splitting hairs now. Who does your merchandise?
You can pay the man. Pay the man. He's the
Guess what?
captain
He's
of the
gone.
team.
There's a salary cap. They're paying too many other players. They can't afford to keep them all.
That's why they're
Well,
watching.
I'm going to let
Basic economics.
I'm
they're
going to let
watching.
these 2 talk after the show because we got to wind this show down. I want to thank all of you for
all right,
watching the
Chip.
show.
We
It's
get
been my pleasure.
to talk football.
And please stay Joey strong.